prenatal and postpartum exercise be covered more comprehensively by health insurance, given its impact based on our conversation on mental and physical well-being?
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, it should. The problem that I see in the industry is that they're not as interested in preventing problems as they are in, throwing some medication at you when you have the problem or procedure. So, for example, there's a lot of urban myths, right, around pregnancy and exercise. And it wasn't until 2002 that the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology said it's okay, and in fact recommended for pregnant women to exercise 30 minutes a day. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, that wasn't that long ago, right? So up until that point, what was it? Maybe just rest, dear. Right?
Bed rest. It was mostly bed rest. My mom, when she was pregnant with me, because I was a high risk, she was on bed rest like the last half of her pregnancy with me. And
wow. Yeah. And there's a lot of fear. I've heard, reaching to the top cabinet there's fear even for people who do yoga. Some people just stop altogether because they say, I'm afraid that, I'm going to stretch too much or whatever. So yeah, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of confusion. And when I was pregnant, somebody told me that I should never engage my core. Now, this is someone she had like tight abs. She was a yoga teacher, that kind of body that she also did Pilates and she had a hard time during labor because her abs were so tight that it was hard for them to expand. However, I do not have her body. I have a completely different body, a very soft. I probably teach prenatal yoga because I always feel a little bit pregnant, very open and unstable. And so it would have been incredibly helpful for me to learn how to engage my core very safely and keep the space for baby, right? And so because I literally did not use my core the whole time. And then I had her and I was healing from a cesarean. And then I actually had a couple miscarriages. And so it was like I was kind of pregnant a lot of that time. It was a long time that my body was destabilized. And because of that, there was a pattern that my body went into, which basically turned my pelvis, my pelvic floor. It took years to heal from that. But the point is that there's a lot that we can prevent by simply learning really basic alignment principles. And in MaYoga, which is alignment based, and I have to say that you'll probably always get something out of any prenatal yoga class, but I am biased toward a kind of yoga that I call alignment based, which means it's not really about doing the pose. It's not about becoming flexible or strong, but all of those happen. The point is really, what are we doing inside the pose? And if you think about it, even right now, you're in a pose, whatever pose it is. It might not be in the Light on Yoga book, but it's a pose, right? And so we have this opportunity to align with our highest possibilities, right? That power and that wisdom within us. So MaYoga is rooted in the 5 elements. And so basically we start with space, right? Just breathing, softening the back of the body, settling the pelvis, right? Being open and receptive to being supported. And as we, when we're stressed, the groins can tighten and it's almost like we're lifting ourselves up out of gravity. Like, I got to do this by myself. But this principle is about just realizing you don't have to micromanage this. Like, your body has an intelligence that in every cell, and there's bigger forces at work.